these abs are like stretching. It like hurts to like cough. All of that is just water and fluid, and it's so tight. My feet hurt so bad to walk. It's like a bubble. The doctor kept on telling me that I was gaining too much weight. Hello friends and family, this is Megan Moon aka Migukserem Emnidang, and I post a lot of things like on Instagram. Like you guys see me post like pregnancy posts, and you guys are always like, oh my god, pregnancy glow, and you're like slaying pregnancy and queen, and you make pregnancy look so good with your twins and all this kind of stuff. But there actually have been like quite a bit of hardships, and so I kind of felt like, I guess I would say phony, like not actually talking to you about them. And then recently there have been a lot, like the last few weeks have been absolute hell. It's very difficult, it's very hard. Actually, in the throes of some of the stressful things that happened, I actually tried to film this video, but I just basically wound up crying the whole video, and it turned out to just be like kind of a venting video, but it actually turned out to be like very therapeutic for me. But when I went back and watched the footage, like it was like kind of incoherent. I'm like, what am I talking about? Like, it's my own story and I don't even know what I'm saying. So I didn't want to just throw out a whole bunch of incoherent, negative, just doom and gloom. Megan's like crying and like snot flying out everywhere on camera. I was like, that is not like my style. But now I'm actually in a much better headspace, mainly because the babies are gonna come like very soon. I'm gonna be induced like tomorrow from the day of this video, so I'm just like, finally I don't have to be pregnant no more, and I can just like breathe and be like, thank God. So I'm in a much better like headspace and feeling much more better and much more positive, so I'm gonna share these things with you. I feel like crap, so let's get started. First, I just want to say, because a lot of people think that if you complain about pregnancy that somehow you don't love your babies, but obviously that's not the case. We're extremely grateful, especially because you guys know that I was infertile, so we did IVF, and I feel extremely blessed because we got pregnant right at the first try, and we got twins, and we got a boy and girl, so it's like a one and done situation. However, having said that, it doesn't mean that you have to enjoy pregnancy. Like, it's hard, girl, especially when you have twins. First thing is that I'm dealing with now is extreme swelling in my legs. Like within a week, suddenly they just grew like that, and I can only bend my leg to here. All of that is just water and fluid, and it's so tight. You can see my pores. It looks like my whole leg got bit by mosquitoes. My feet hurt so bad to walk. It's like a bubble of water, and literally when I walk I can feel it sloshing around. So painful. Especially my right leg is bigger than my left leg, and it's painful. So because I can't bend my legs, I can't put on, socks or panties by myself, and it makes me so sad because I have to rely on Mr. Moon for that. Obviously, I'm grateful to have him, and I don't have an issue with relying on people, but when there's things that you're able to do before and suddenly you can't do them, it makes you really sad, and you feel just so like helpless and kind of like depressed even, that you can't do anything. I can't even really walk like to the store even, right? So I've just been using the apps to like order stuff. I can't wear any of my pants, can't wear any of my shoes. I'm actually wearing my husband's panties. He was like, just wear my panties. I'm like, thank God Mr. Moon is a hefty man. Basically the swelling happened all within 1 week. Suddenly I just gained 16 pounds of just water in my legs. So the doctor was worried I had preeclampsia, which is a disorder where you get high blood pressure and protein in the urine, and it's very dangerous. And typically if you develop preeclampsia, especially acutely, the baby's just got to be born like right then and there. So my blood pressure's always been like 120 something over like 60, 70 something, so it's always great. Don't have protein in the urine, don't have preeclampsia. But since my right leg is bigger than my left leg, the doctor was like, well, she was like, you could have a blood clot, so let's run some tests. So that's what we did yesterday. And I was like, a blood clot? Well, shit, that's worse than preeclampsia, because blood clots break off and go into your lungs and your heart and your brain, and you like freaking die like basically instantly. So that was even more stress actually. until we went in, we got the test, and they like check all your blood vessels, and there's no clots, thank God. Because that was like the scariest thing ever. It's like, wow, if you get up and walk around too fast, the blood clot could like dislodge. And that's typically how it happens. If you don't go to the hospital within like a very short amount of time, then that's it for you. Anywho, that was so stressful. So thank God there's no issues there. I'm just really unlucky with like swelling, especially in twin pregnancy. You get more swelling. So originally the induction date was supposed to be on the 19th, but she said for twins they're full term, so she's like, your legs are so swollen you can't walk or anything, there's no need for you to wait until next week. She's like, I literally could even induce you for labor right now if you wanted to. And I was like, okay. Well, that was yesterday. So I'm like, well, how about we just do Friday, which is tomorrow. So I'm actually going in tomorrow to just be induced. Yeah, so tomorrow, which I'm so excited for. Like, as soon as I heard that, I'm like, thank God, because I was like, I don't know how I'm going to last until next week. Like, and on top of the legs being swollen, I have such bad round ligament pain now that even just walking a few steps around the house, I get like an instant like shot of electricity up through my abs. And especially because my abs are so tight, my belly is so hard, and like these abs are like stretching, it like hurts to like cough or sneeze or laugh. It feels like literally like my abs are just gonna like rip. Starting from probably the day after tomorrow, I'm gonna be pregnant normal, which is exciting, and I can hold the babies in my arms. Just anything at this point in time is better than not being pregnant, because literally I can only sleep for like 30-40 minutes at a time without having to go to the bathroom or being in random hip pain or back pain. So that's the most pressing thing at the moment, my legs. So the next thing that was extremely stressful was that the doctor kept on telling me that I was gaining too much weight. But then I like checked on the chart, and if I kept going like a particular way, I would set to gain, I think, around 54 pounds. And they say when you have twins, especially if you started out very, very lean, like my body fat was extremely low, then you would gain between 50 and 60 pounds, and it's fine. But I think in Korea, the standard is a little bit different, because Asian women have like higher rates of having health issues when they gain even the smallest amount of weight, maybe because their frames are smaller. So she brought me and Mr. Moon into her office and like sat us down and was like, Mr. Moon, I think you need to help your wife to eat less. She needs to eat about 70% of what she's eating now, so that she doesn't gain weight, because it could be dangerous for the babies and blah, blah, blah. And so she's like, for a whole month, I don't want you to gain any weight. Cut your food to 70%. And I was like, really? So I was like so stressed. I like left the hospital room and just went to the bathroom and cried for like 30 minutes while Mr. Moon waited outside, because I was like so stressed. Because I'm like, I already watch what I eat. I don't eat like processed food, sugar, not a lot of carbs. Anyway, I work out once a day, still doing my weight training. But I'm one of those people who I kind of listen to like authority figures, like doctors or whoever's an authority figure. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll do that. So I went on a diet. Literally, I felt like I was on my competition diet, hungry all the time. And I added extra cardio to my workout routine. So I literally would get up in the morning, have like a protein shake, do my morning weight training workout, a little bit of cardio, and then do cardio again in the evening after having like salad all day and chicken breasts or something like that, which I've had to start eating, because when you have twins, you have to have 50 extra grams of protein a day or so. And you guys know I'm limited on my fiber, so that's what I had to start eating. And it was just so stressful, because I was like hungry all day, every day, pregnant with twins, not even somebody who's obese or overweight by any means, having pressure from my doctor. To be honest, I'm like, I wish I had just ignored her and been like, well, whatever, right? And just continue to live my healthy lifestyle. Anyway, so I came back a month later and I hadn't gained any weight in twin pregnancy, from a normal BMI person in a healthy BMI range. From week 24 to 28, gained not an ounce of weight. I had to weigh myself every morning, and literally if there was like even just a little bit of like extra weight added, and the next day I had to cut my food back a little bit. And it was really stressful because I don't even do that in like daily life when my body, you know, was in its peak shape, unless I'm about to do a competition. Anyway, so I went back to the doctor and she was like, oh, good for you, you know, good job. Now do it again. So I'm like, you want me to do it again? So literally for 2 months out of this whole pregnancy, I gained no weight. And it was extremely stressful, both mentally and physically. And I said, if I go back and she tells me to do it again, I'm going to have a Chris Brown deuces moment. And I'm going to put my middle finger up and let my index finger follow. And deuces. And maybe find another doctor because this is entirely too stressful. But the babies were growing fine, so I guess it's okay. And even right now, they've grown like really fine. I haven't had preterm labor or anything, clearly, which is why I have to be induced. Next, so actually right around when I was 31 weeks pregnant, my father-in-law got COVID. My father-in-law works with Moon, so everyone was like, oh my God, that means Moon probably has COVID. That means Megan's gonna get COVID. Moon tested positive for COVID, and he went to do his quarantine at the in-laws' house, because in Korea, when you get COVID, you have to do home quarantine for 10 days, and the government like monitors you or whatever. But the thing is, a lot of people I know have had their twins at like 32 weeks, and his quarantine was like going up until that, and we hadn't set up the nursery or anything yet. And I was like, oh my God, so I have to be alone, like, and I could possibly like go into like early labor, because a lot of people do, like with twins. A couple days later, I tested positive for COVID, and I like had a mental breakdown. I was like, oh my God, I got COVID. And already when you're pregnant, especially with like twins, you're already like on edge because you're stressed about the new life changes and the hormones, and your body's uncomfortable. And I just literally had a breakdown and just like cried like forever. And I was worried, like, what if I get a really high fever and have to be rushed to the emergency room, and the babies have to like come early, or something happens to the baby. And it was just so stressful, girl. I was like, ooh. But luckily I didn't have any symptoms. Like, out of everyone else, I didn't have any symptoms. The only reason why I got checked is because if you live with somebody who got COVID, the government sends you a message and they say, hey, you need to get checked for COVID after a certain amount of days. So I never got any symptoms. I'm like, thank God. And then also, I was also kind of grateful because Moon was able to come back home. When you're in quarantine, as long as you contact your person in the government, you can get permission to like go and do certain things. And so he called and said, hey, I need to go home because my wife has COVID too. So then he came back home. So at least I didn't have to be alone. We were able to like be together for that last like kind of week or so. Anywho, there's more like things like just like the stress of life and like preparing for babies and like trying to figure out, you know, our new routine and just like being stressed about stuff like that. But these, I guess, were the main things that were really causing me like a lot of stress in the last few weeks. Needless to say, on top of just all the other symptoms, all I can say is I'm so grateful to be being induced tomorrow, or since my mucus plug is gone and I've been having lots of kind of like period like pains. I'm really hoping that they come on their own before tomorrow, but if not, induction it is. So I know by this weekend I'm gonna have my babies in my arms, and it's gonna be great, and it's gonna have all been worth it. But yeah, I just wanted to talk to you guys and let you know about some things that were kind of stressful for me. I did learn a lot like through this process. I feel like this process has kind of made me a stronger person. And just some other positive things that have kind of come out of it is that me and Mr. Moon have learned to like talk a lot more. Like Mr. Moon is like always like so quiet, and I always have to like force him to like talk about the things that he's thinking about. But I was like, look, we're about to have twins and our life is about to radically change, sir. Like, you got to really talk. So we've been having a lot more conversations about how we want like our future and stuff to go. So it's kind of like brought us together in a sense, which is something that's been, you know, like really nice and positive. All in all, I'm now like super excited for the future, just to see what it brings, what challenges, you know, me and Mr. Moon can overcome together. I think it's going to be pretty good, but pretty hard. And I think we're probably going to die in those first few months. Because trying to feed 2 babies, like, I don't know. So we'll be filming and documenting everything. I might take a month off before I start posting the stuff about it though. So if I take some time off from YouTube, obviously I just birthed 2 humans from my vagina. and I'm getting adjusted to that, so it might take some time for the videos to come up, but they will be coming up. Many of you guys also are wondering where you can send stuff, like baby stuff or, you know, congratulations stuff. We have an address. You can send it down. It'll be down in the description box. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video and you'd like to see more videos, please subscribe to my YouTube page, which is down below. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, not on Snapchat because I don't use that no more. Like me on Facebook, and I will see ya. Ooh. No, no, I leaned back too far in the chair. Oh, I farted trying to get up. Jesus. All right, just fart it out. You fart a lot. You're pregnant. Sorry. Oh.